When my wife decided to secure our cabin gate with a simple lock, we never imagined it would spiral into a full-blown war with the local HOA. What began as a quiet attempt at privacy soon attracted the fury of a meddling neighbor, one who had no idea who really held the power. The cabin had always been our escape from the noise of the city. Nestled between tall pines with a trail that led down to a quiet, glistening lake, it was everything we dreamed of owning. My wife, Melissa, cherished it more than anything. She spent her weekends planting wildflowers, repairing the old wooden dock, and bringing life back to a property that had been neglected for years. But as peaceful as the cabin was, the problem wasn't the property, it was the community that surrounded it. The cabins were scattered across privately owned lots, but a handful of vocal residents had formed an unofficial HOA. At its head was a woman who considered herself queen of the lakeside, Karen. Her actual name was Patricia, but no one called her that anymore. She was the type of neighbor who wore sunglasses indoors, carried a clipboard like it was a weapon, and strutted around barking rules no one had agreed to. The trouble started the day Melissa decided to install a new gate lock. The cabin had always had a small wooden gate at the entrance of the gravel path leading to our property, but the latch was old and loose. After catching sight of strangers fishing off our dock one too many times, Melissa decided it was time to secure the place. As she drilled the new lock into place, I watched from the porch with a cup of coffee in hand. It was a crisp Saturday morning, the kind that should have been peaceful. That's when Karen's SUV rolled up, kicking gravel like an approaching storm. She stepped out, clipboard in hand, her lips already curled into a sneer. "What do you think you're doing?" she demanded. Melissa, ever calm, wiped her hands on her jeans and replied, "Installing a gate lock. This is private property." Karen laughed, a sharp, grating sound. "Private property? Wrong. This whole area is under the jurisdiction of the Homeowners Association, and you can't just put locks wherever you please. The lake access must remain open." Melissa tilted her head, confused but composed. "Karen, this gate leads to our cabin. The dock and trail are ours. The lake access we own is written in our deed." That set Karen off. She jabbed her pen toward Melissa like a sword. "I won't allow you to restrict access. People have been using this path for years. Installing a lock is a violation of community rules. Remove it immediately or face the consequences." I stepped forward, trying to keep my voice steady. "Karen, with all due respect, there are no community rules. We own this land. If anyone has been using it, they've been trespassing. This lock is staying." Her face twisted. "We'll see about that." She stormed off, muttering something about calling in reinforcements. At the time, I thought she meant she'd gather her little HOA gang. I didn't expect her next move to involve dialing 911. The following weekend, the situation escalated. Melissa and I were inside the cabin enjoying lunch when flashing lights bounced off the living room walls. My stomach dropped. 2 sheriff's deputies were standing outside by the gate, and Karen was with them, arms folded smugly across her chest. I walked out to meet them, and one of the deputies raised a hand. "Sir, we received a call about someone unlawfully restricting public access to the lake. Can you explain what's going on?" Karen jumped in before I could speak. "This couple is trying to block the community from accessing the lake. They installed a lock without approval, which violates HOA rules. I demand they remove it immediately." The deputies exchanged looks. One pulled out a notepad. "Is this true? Do you have any documents proving ownership of this access point?" Melissa came out holding a folder she had wisely kept handy. Inside were the cabin's deed and the plat map, clearly showing that our property included the private trail and dock leading to the lake. She handed it over calmly. One deputy reviewed the papers and then glanced at Karen. "Ma'am, this is private property. According to the deed, the dock and access are owned exclusively by them." Karen's face flushed. "That can't be right. Everyone uses that dock. It's tradition. My family has been fishing there for 20 years. The deputy shook his head. "Tradition doesn't override property law." Karen tried a different tactic. "But it's dangerous. What if someone gets hurt because of that lock? They're creating a hazard." Melissa's patience thinned. "The only hazard is strangers wandering onto our property without permission. This is about safety for us too. You can't just claim what isn't yours." The deputy handed Melissa back the deed. As far as we're concerned, you're within your rights. If anyone trespasses, call us. We'll handle it. Karen's mouth fell open. You're siding with them? You don't understand how this community works. I'll take this to court. I'll have the entire HOA on my side. Melissa's voice was steady, but her eyes burned with resolve. Take it wherever you want, Karen. Just remember, you don't own this lake access. We do. The deputies left soon after, leaving Karen fuming at the roadside. But instead of backing down, she doubled down. She started a smear campaign, sending out flyers to neighbors claiming we were selfishly hoarding community resources. She riled people up, insisting they had a right to the dock. Within days, we had angry knocks at our door, strangers shouting insults. One even tried to cut the lock off at night, but Melissa had installed a reinforced steel latch they couldn't break. That's when we decided enough was enough. Melissa wasn't going to wait for Karen to twist more lies. She had a plan, and it would end this feud for good. Melissa's plan was simple but powerful. Go straight to the county records office. One weekday morning, she drove into town with our deed property maps and a request for clarification. She asked for a formal letter confirming the boundary lines and lake rights. The clerk was more than helpful, even printing an official notice that stated, in no uncertain terms, that our family owned the only legal access to that stretch of the lake. Armed with the document, Melissa didn't wait long to put it to use. She invited the entire community to a meeting at the cabin, knowing Karen wouldn't dare miss it. The night of the gathering, neighbors filled the yard. Some curious, others visibly hostile. Karen arrived fashionably late, strutting in with her clipboard like a general preparing for war. Melissa stepped forward, holding the official notice. Thank you all for coming. There seems to be confusion about lake access. I'd like to clear that up tonight. She handed copies of the county's statement to the crowd. Murmurs rippled through as people scanned the papers. Melissa continued, This property line includes the dock and the trail to the lake. It has never been public. There are no community rights attached. Anyone who's been using it has been trespassing. That's not opinion. It's legal fact. Karen's face paled. She grabbed a copy, scanning it frantically. This can't be real. There must be some mistake. Melissa didn't flinch. There's no mistake, and I'm not here to start fights. We're willing to allow neighbors occasional access if they ask respectfully. But bullying, trespassing, and calling the police on us? That ends now. The crowd shifted uneasily. A few neighbors apologized on the spot, embarrassed by Karen's deception. Others muttered about how they'd been misled. Karen, sensing her grip slipping, tried one last desperate move. This isn't fair. Just because the law says it's yours doesn't mean you should keep it to yourself. This community depends on tradition. Melissa locked eyes with her. Tradition doesn't give you ownership. Respect does, and you've shown none. Silence fell. Karen's power evaporated before everyone's eyes. For the first time, she was the one left speechless. In the weeks that followed, the harassment stopped. Neighbors who had once sided with Karen began waving at us kindly, realizing we weren't selfish hoarders, but simply protecting what was ours. Karen, stripped of her influence, sulked quietly in her cabin, her clipboard tucked away for good. The lock remained on the gate. Our dock remained ours. And Melissa, calm, determined, and unshakable, proved that standing firm against bullies was the only way to truly protect what mattered. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the next jaw-dropping tale. This is Hidden Compass Stories, where the battles are real, the drama is raw, and the endings always leave a mark.